Ever played a game and thought, man, I wish these characters would just say something, well, anything new?
Yeah, yeah, like you just run into the same shopkeeper 100 times, and it's the same 5 lines of dialogue.
Right. Like, what if every conversation could be different, actually surprise you?
That would be wild.
Well, that's what we're diving into today, this whole idea of throwing AI right into the heart of a dungeon crawler.
And we're not just talking about procedurally generated dungeons or loot tables or anything,
All right.
though that stuff's pretty cool too.
This is different.
We're talking about AI that can craft stories,
Yeah.
like on-the-fly storytelling, making each playthrough totally unique.
Okay, so paint that picture for me, because when I think AI and games, my brain goes to, like, Skyrim, but the mountains are arranged differently.
Right, right. No, this is way beyond that.
So how is it different?
Think more like every time you talk to a character,
Yeah.
the AI is driving the conversation, remembering what you've done, and responding in a way that makes sense for that character
Oh, wow.
in that specific situation.
Okay, hold on, because this is starting to sound less like coding a game and more like teaching a computer to improvise.
Exactly.
Okay, so how is that even possible?
Well, that's the really cool part. You've got these massive leaps in AI, especially in natural language processing,
Right.
like GPT-4, which is what we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
And this has opened up a whole world of possibilities for dynamic storytelling in games.
It's like AI went from crunching numbers to like understanding and riffing on human creativity all in real time.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, think about it. You've got a dungeon master in a D&D game, right? They describe the world, the characters, everything.
Right.
But they also have to react to what the players do, which can be unpredictable.
And that's what this AI is doing.
That's what this game developer's trying to do, at least.
And who is this brave soul?
So the game, it's called Tower of Gates.
Okay.
And the developer, his name is Paul Bellow. Now, this is where it gets extra interesting.
Okay.
Because he's not just a game dev.
Uh-huh.
This guy's also a successful LitRPG author.
Wait, so he's got like one foot in the world of writing fantasy novels and the other foot in coding AI dungeon masters.
Exactly.
It's wild.
Which is, kind of perfect for this kind of project.
Yeah.
Because he gets both sides of it. He understands the technical challenges, but he also gets the storytelling, the world building, the whole LitRPG vibe.
And for those of us who might not be familiar with LitRPG.
Right, so it's kind of like this.
Yeah.
Imagine stepping into a video game world, right, with all the stats, levels, and skills, but you still have all your real-world memories.
Oh, okay, so you're not just playing a character, you're kind of living it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of what makes LitRPG so compelling, that extra layer of self-awareness that you don't always get in traditional fantasy.
Gotcha. So this Paul Bellow guy, he's basically taking that LitRPG immersion to a whole other level with AI.
Right. And the best part is we can actually trace his journey with this project, like back to the very beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been super open about the whole process, sharing updates on forums, YouTube, you name it.
That's kind of rare, right? For a game dev to be that transparent.
It is, especially at this stage where most devs are super secretive about their projects.
Okay, so where does this journey begin?
It all starts back in April of 2023 on the OpenAI developer forum.
Okay.
Bellow's basically figuring out how to get GPT-4 to generate, like, room descriptions that match his game map.
Like actually describing what the player would see in the game world?
Yep. He even shared this visual trying to get the AI to create a donut-shaped room.
A donut-shaped room?
You'll know, right?
What is it about game devs and donuts?
It's like a rite of passage, I swear.
So did it work? Did the AI make a donut room?
It tried.
Uh-oh.
He asks for this donut-shaped room, and GPT-4 decides to add a giant mutated rat.
Oh, no.
Munching on a donut the size of a small car.
Oh, my God, no.
Classic AI. Taking things a little too literally.
But I'm guessing this wasn't exactly what Bellow had in mind.
Not quite, but you can tell, even from his forum post, he's got a good sense of humor about it.
Thank goodness for that.
Like he's laughing about it, embracing the unexpected, which is kind of essential when you're dealing with AI that has a mind of its own.
Oh, for sure. Because if you can't laugh at the giant donut-eating rat, then what can you laugh at?
Exactly. But the best part is Bellow actually uses these, let's call them learning experiences, to make the game better.
Okay, so it's not just about funny forum posts and AI mishaps. He actually turns these things into gameplay.
Exactly. And we see this evolution in his YouTube updates. He goes from these early experiments to showing off actual gameplay footage.
So what's it actually like to play a game where the characters are powered by AI?
Well, in one of his recent videos, he's showcasing a shopkeeper NPC, totally run by AI.
Okay, and?
Except this shopkeeper isn't just like, welcome stranger, what can I do for you today? This one actually gets fed up with the player for being annoying.
Okay, and?
And attacks.
No way.
Yeah. You can tell even Bellow was surprised.
So it's not like it was scripted to attack after a certain number of interactions or something?
Nope. Purely the AI's decision based on how the player was acting.
That is amazing.
It was this moment of, like, genuine surprise, even for Bellow. Like, he created this thing, and even he didn't know what it was going to do. And that's exactly what he's going for, this unpredictability.
But, I mean, I get the unpredictability being cool, but how do you even begin to design a game around that? Like, if the characters can just decide to go off script, how do you control the pacing, the difficulty, the whole player experience?
That's the thing, right? I mean, if the AI is really calling the shots, how do you even design a game around that?
It's a huge challenge. And it takes a special kind of developer to even attempt it.
Because it's not just about writing clever dialogue anymore. It's about
building a system that can react and adapt in a way that feels believable, even when you're throwing curveballs at it.
Which brings us to, I guess, the technical wizardry behind all of this. Because I got to imagine this Tower of Gates game, it's got to be a nightmare to code.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest hurdles in game development, even without AI, is saving and loading your progress. Right, because you got to remember where you are, what you were doing, all that stuff.
Exactly. But now imagine you've got these AI-powered characters, right? And they're learning and evolving based on your every interaction.
So it's not just about saving where you are in the dungeon, it's about saving the entire state of the AI's brain.
Exactly. You've got to capture every conversation, every decision, every little quirk of their personality that's developed as a result of interacting with the player.
Wow. That's a lot of data.
It's a massive amount of data. And somehow you have to make that data persistent so that when you load up your game, those characters are still who they were when you left them.
I'm starting to get a headache just thinking about it.
I hear you. And it's clear from Bellow's updates that he's really wrestling with this challenge. He describes it as trying to bottle lightning.
Because each encounter is unique, so you can't just like rewind and replay it.
Exactly. Each interaction creates a unique set of data points that shapes the AI's memory of the player. It's like, think about how you interact with your friends, right?
Please, let's not bring my social life into this.
Okay, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Each interaction builds upon the last, shaping your relationship over time. That's essentially what Bellow is trying to replicate with AI.
It's like he's trying to teach a computer to be someone's friend.
In a way, yes. Or at least to simulate the feeling of having a dynamic, evolving relationship with a fictional character.
So how's he doing? Is it working?
Well, that's the really fascinating part. Because Bellow, he's incredibly open about the entire process.
Like refreshingly open.
Oh, totally. He's not hiding behind the curtain, pretending everything is perfect. He shares the triumphs, the struggles, the moments where he's ready to tear his hair out.
Because coding an AI Dungeon Master is probably not all sunshine and roses.
Not even close. There are bugs, glitches, moments where the AI does something completely unexpected.
Giant donut-eating rats aside.
Exactly. But he shares it all. He even talks about the financial strain of pouring so much time and energy into an independent project like this.
Because passion doesn't pay the bills, sadly.
Nope. And he talks very candidly about considering Kickstarter, paid pre-alpha, all those options that indie devs wrestle with.
It's that honesty, I think, that really makes this whole story so compelling. He's not just building a game, he's inviting us along for the ride.
Exactly. And it makes you realize that there's a human cost to innovation, especially in an industry that often glorifies the end product without acknowledging the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. This guy, Bellow, he's not just trying to get the basics working.
Oh, no. He's got bigger plans.
He's got this whole wish list of features, and they're not just tacked on. They all feed into this idea of making the game world react to you.
It's like he's trying to build a world with real consequences, where your actions actually matter.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
So one of the coolest things he's working on is this skill system, but it's not your typical level up thing.
Okay.
It's all about how your choices actually change your character's abilities.
So it's not just like, I gained enough XP and now I'm better at picking locks.
Right. It's more like if you successfully pickpocket someone, the game remembers that.
Oh, interesting.
And your character, they get a little bit better at stealing, but maybe your reputation in the game world takes a hit.
Ooh, I like that. So it's a trade-off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Suddenly, other NPCs might be more wary of you, Or maybe the local thieves guild comes knocking.
Now that's cool.
It's those little details that make the world feel alive, you know? Like your actions have these ripple effects that you might not even see immediately.
And he's building all this on top of the AI character.
Oh yeah, that's a huge part of it. He's even toying with the idea of factions in the game.
Factions, like you can join different groups.
Yeah, but think like AI-controlled factions. Imagine teaming up with a guild of adventurers, going on quests together, maybe even overthrowing a corrupt king.
Okay, see, now you're talking my language. That sounds awesome.
Right, but it's not just about having these groups exist. It's that they would be driven by AI, so their motivations, their alliances, all that could shift based on what's happening in the game world and how you interact with them.
It's like that choose-your-own-adventure aspect, but cranked up to 11.
Exactly. No two playthroughs would be the same because you're dealing with these complex AI characters that are constantly learning and adapting.
Okay, you've sold me on pretty much everything else, but there's got to be a catch, right? Some big design hurdle that makes all this almost impossible to pull off.
Well, there is one big question mark hanging over the whole project.
Hit me.
Permadeath.
Ooh, yeah. That's the roguelike dilemma. Die once, start all over again. Tough but fair, right?
Right, but in a game where the AI can throw curveballs like this, it could be brutal. Imagine spending hours building up your character, forming alliances, only to have it all wiped out because an AI shopkeeper decided they didn't like the way you look at them.
Oof. Yeah, that's a tough sell. So is he going for it, permadeath, or no?
He's actually been going back and forth on it, asking for feedback from players in his updates.
Smart move. Gauge the temperature before you potentially enrage your entire player base. So which way is he leaning?
Honestly, it's hard to tell. On the one hand, permadeath would add this amazing tension.
Right.
Every decision has weight because the stakes are so high.
But on the other hand, rage quits. Potentially a lot of rage quits.
Exactly. It's a balancing act, for sure.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting to see how he ultimately decides to handle it. But whatever he chooses, I think one thing's clear.
What's that?
Tower of Gates, it's not just another game. It's a glimpse into the future.
Of gaming.
Of storytelling, period.
Because if this works, if he actually pulls this off,
It could change everything.
we could have games that are truly different every time you play them, with stories that adapt to your choices in ways we haven't even imagined yet.
And it all started with one guy, a donut-loving AI, and a whole lot of passion.
That's a pretty good tagline for this whole thing, if you ask me. Well, there you have it, folks. Another deep dive into the wild world of AI and gaming. And who knows, maybe the next time you boot up your favorite game, you might just find yourself face to face with a character who's a little too clever for their own good. Until next time, keep playing and keep wondering what amazing things await us in the ever-evolving world of interactive storytelling.